Hello and welcome to TCS Student News. I'm Kirsten here with
Olivia Yates. Let's get started with the news. For our first story, we'll be talking about sleep. A new study has found evidence that lack of sleep causes behavioral and cognitive problems for kids later in life. Parents and teachers reported more problems in 7-year-olds who didn't get enough sleep during their toddler and preschool years compared to peers who got an age-appropriate amount of sleep. Dr. Elise Tavris, who was Chief of General Pediatrics at Massachusetts General Hospital for Children in Boston, conducted the study. Dr. Elise and her colleagues analyzed data on 1,046 children from a study that followed them before birth. Insufficient sleep was less than 11 hours for 3 to 4-year-olds and less than 10 hours for 5 to 7-year-old kids. Children who slept less than 10 hours per day at ages 3 to 4 years had lower scores compared to kids who usually slept longer. The study adds to a building literature that is suggesting at least that having sleep problems early in life are predictive of behavioral and, in other populations, cognitive problems later, Dr. Dean Baby told Reuters Health.
Now let's move on to our next story. Donald Trump has repeatedly been accusing Obama of personally ordering surveillance on the Trump Towers before the election. An Obama spokesman had denied that former president wiretapped Trump, and I quote, "Neither President Obama nor any other White House official ever ordered surveillance on any U.S. citizen." White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said, "So far there had been no evidence, but if there were proof, Donald Trump would be the only person to have it." Comey, director of Federal Bureau of Investigation, testified before the House of Intelligence Committee saying, with respect to the president's tweets about wiretapping directed at him by the prior administration, "I have no information that supports those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI. The Department of Justice has asked me to ensure you that the answer is the same for the Department of Justice and all its components. If it turns out that there was no wiretapping, this would easily humiliate Trump."
Wouldn't be the first time. For our next story, we'll be talking about Mexico. Mexico on Saturday formally began operating centers for the defense of Mexican immigrants in its 50 consulates and embassies in the United States. The centers are specifically designed to provide consular assistance as well as legal representation to all Mexican migrants who require support in America, the Mexican Foreign Ministry said in a statement. Mexican Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Luis Videgaray, was at the consulate in New York for the formal announcement. Earlier this week, he said 170 million pesos, $54 million, have been distributed for those services and 320 temporary workers would be hired. The ministry statement adds that through these centers, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs provides an exclusive space for Mexicans in need of consular assistance to receive information, guidance, and direct legal advice with the support of a strong network of local allies, including lawyers and organizations specialized in the defense of the rights of the migrants.
Okay, now let's move on to climate change. Located off the coast of Australia is the Great Barrier Reef. The reef is slowly dying due to rising temperatures. These temperatures are rising because of global warming. But even if the world could halt global warming now, scientists still expect that more than 90% of corals will die by 2050. They have often described as underwater rainforests because they populate a tiny fraction of the ocean by providing habitats for more than 1 in 4 marine species. Reefs also form coral barriers protecting coastlines from storms. So here are some things we can do to save the reefs. Conserve water. The less water we use, the less runoff and wastewater will pollute our oceans. Help reduce pollution. Walk, ride a bus or bike. Dispose of our trash properly. Don't leave unwanted fishing lines or nets in the water or on the beach. And lastly, spread the word. Remember your own excitement in learning how important the planet's coral reefs are to us and the global ecosystem. Olivia, how do you feel about this issue?
I hope the Great Barrier Reef and other reefs can survive till and past 2050. But now let's move on to some TCS news. On Tuesday, 4 shadow students came into the school. One of the students I spoke to, named Gabby, said, "TCS is really different from other schools. I think the school is fun and would recommend TCS to other people. I hope the shadow students can join TCS next year."
Last Friday, Richard Gibson, the major of Baltimore City Police, and an officer named Gina and a detective named Jake came to talk to us about their life journey and a bit about what it's like to be a police officer. Thank you for coming in.
Dr. Scott from Johns Hopkins, head of the Department of Immunology, came in to speak to the biology class. Dr. Scott's laboratory is interested in understanding the immunobiology of host parasites interactions. Dr. Scott talked to the class about antigens, the immune system as defense against pathogens. Thank you for coming in to talk to TCS.
Well, that about wraps up this week's edition of TCS News.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Olivia Yates.
And I'm your host, Kirsten Bear.
See you next week with more TCS News.